Hey guys, it's Thasnia. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to help you figure out how to research what career is right for you. And by research, I mean looking up
jobs, their salaries, their job descriptions, what their schedule is like, pros, cons, etc.
As well as how to expose yourself to your career so that you can even further understand if this is the place for you and for the rest of your life. So my very first tip is that it's easier to identify your skills and passions rather than coming up with an actual job out of thin air. I highly recommend that you write down on paper, not on your phone, notes app, whatever, on paper, physical paper, a list of your skills and your passions and then what's obviously your weaknesses. I believe that thinking about your skills, thinking about your weaknesses, those ideas can come in your head just as quickly as they disappear. But if you've got them written down on a piece of paper, you're going to want to fill up that paper. Once you have this whole list of your skills and your passions and also your weaknesses, you can match these skills into a broad career. So for example, if you're like me, I love taking care of others, so that was a strong indication for me that I should be in healthcare. But maybe you don't think so because you don't like needles. So my next point would be keep an open mind to many different fields. Healthcare does not equal working with needles. You might think that because that's, like, oh, healthcare means like I'm giving everyone shots every day. Like, no, it's not like that. For example, a radiation therapist, they are not really dealing with blood at all. So the only way you would know that is by digging deeper and deeper into these careers. What I would do is Google search, for example, like healthcare jobs without blood. If you have a different interest. Careers involving mechanical skills. I don't know. The key is not to restrict yourself from any career path until there is a distinguishing factor about the job that you just cannot handle, you don't appreciate, or you have no interest in. For example, I ruled out engineering in a hot minute because I don't have any mechanical skills. And my last point under tip number 1 is that there are free online quizzes that really assess your personality and your characteristics, your skills, and they match these to really specific jobs that you might enjoy. This is a great way of finding out all of these jobs that you've never heard of before. You might find yourself matching with underwater welding. I've never even heard of that until like a week ago. Tip number 2 is to find YouTubers that are always talking about their careers. And then if you really like what they're talking about, then you should subscribe to them. YouTube has become a wonderful place to educate yourself, opening you up to an ocean of opportunities, learning in-depth information about all of these jobs, which will therefore help you understand if this job fits you. So under tip number 2, I would say additionally to make playlists of videos that you find really interesting and or informative, so that if you ever need to, you can look back on it. Tip number 3 is to ask around. So I have spoken to so many
teachers, friends, coworkers, strangers, guest speakers, and YouTubers
about their careers and how they knew that it was right for them. I would also ask what the pros and cons are, because it's very important to know what do you have to sacrifice or what are the ugly things about this job that you have to deal with. They're going to really appreciate that you're making this effort to learn about their job. Tip number 4, by actively and consistently researching your career path, you're going to naturally feel more connected to it, and this is going to become like burning passion and motivation that's going to get you through your hard exams or through the hard criticism that you're getting from everybody else, but it's going to push you to keep going. Tip number 5, which is probably the most obvious one, is to just simply look up careers. But you're probably wondering, like, how do I even do that? What am I supposed to be looking for? So first of all, I would say you should be practical and ask yourself, is this job alone going to make me financially stable? Meaning you should look up, what is the salary? If the answer is no, it's not going to keep me financially stable, then that doesn't mean that you should give up on this passion. It just means that you're gonna need to have a second job, or you're gonna have to work really, really hard to distinguish yourself. And that second job does not have to be your passion, but this is just one of the costs you're gonna have to go through, and that should be worth it. My next tip is to figure out how you're actually gonna get there. How do you become this person in this job? That's a really important question, because maybe it's gonna require a lot of schooling, maybe it's gonna require a lot of money to make that money. There are always plenty of resources out there online, and all you have to do is say how to become XYZ. And please don't call it a day after watching just one video or reading just one article. One person is not going to say the same exact thing as the next. So for example, when I was looking up how to become a nurse practitioner, I saw some YouTubers saying that, like, oh, you have to go to nursing school for 4 years. And that's not true. But I would not have known that if I did not look at other YouTubers and other articles. So my my point here is to make yourself aware of all your options to get there. Another very important question to ask is, what is the lifestyle of the job? Do you work underwater or are you in the hospital?
Are you in a cubicle? Is it a 9-to-5 job? Do you work seasonally? Are you going to be working night shifts a lot? Do you travel a lot, or does this take away a lot of time from your kids? What population are you working with? Are you working with kids, adults, a mix of them? Are you even working with a population, or are you working with a computer?
And as you go through these questions, if one of these answers ends up being a distinguishing factor that's like, ooh, no, I can't handle this, say bye. Say bye to Career XYZ and say hello to ABC. My very last tip, which is tip number 6, is to just simply start the research. Don't ever think it's too early or too late, because this is an investment in yourself. When it comes to choosing your career, it really comes down to chasing your passion. So when it comes to doing your research, be curious, be open, take advantage of all the information that is out there online, but also in people's heads. You also have to expose yourself to these careers. So if you want to be in healthcare, volunteering at an ambulance corps would be a great way to start. And don't be afraid of doing a free service, because the value you're getting out of it is connections, the exposure, the experience. Whatever you want, you gotta start the process now, because it's only gonna help you, and there's so much to learn, there's so much wisdom to gain by starting now. And by starting this process, you're going to eliminate other fields, which will only bring you closer to the right one. So I hope these tips were helpful, and I wish you the best of luck on your career journey. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've learned anything in this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want, and I'll see you next time. Bye!